And when I look at the Rio side in Las Vegas, they already have water and sewage and all the other stuff hooked up to that land because there's a major hotel there, and they already have all this property. And I could see why the A's would look at that and go, well, heck, that seems way easier.
There's also
building on this port where there's nothing.
There's
right?
also like neighborhoods of houses that are pre-existing, like just a block or two north of the Rio. Now, how does it work that they would be okay down there? And again, this is the same thing that Howard Terminal has gone through. Like, can you logistically put a ballpark here? Can you get 35,000 in and out on a regular basis? How would Las Vegas residents, are they Las Vegasites, Las Vegans, whatever? They're not vegans. They're not all vegans. But how, like the neighborhoods surrounding the Rio, they're probably okay with the hotel, but 35,000 in and out, 81 times per summer, that's a whole different equation there. So, like, I don't know that as much as we talk about how, building on the waterfront in Oakland is difficult, the Rio site, maybe even the Tropicana site, does come with, I got to think it comes with some complexities, right? It's not entirely a slam dunk, is it?
I don't know if it's entirely slam dunk, and they want the public funds also to build there, because if you're John Fisher, again, you build a stadium here, it's probably a $1 billion process. You build a stadium in Vegas, it's a $1.5 to $2 billion process because you need the retractable roof or some type of roof to combat the summer heat.
Right.
So the other aspects of it would have to be a whole lot easier because, if he builds here in Oakland, it's a $6 billion development, but he's just building the stadium. He's going to bring in other people to build all the other stuff and just be the master tenant. In Vegas, he's just building the stadium there as well. But the rest of the infrastructure is going to be dramatically cheaper, most likely, and probably a whole lot easier. And it's not California. So I think if you really looked at where the A's interests lie, like John Fisher's a Bay Area guy. Dave Kaval went to Stanford. Billy Beane is a Bay Area guy. He didn't want to go be a GM somewhere else or a part owner somewhere else. I think all these people really want to be here. But at some point, if they don't feel like they can get the deal done, then they're going to be left with no choice but to try to build somewhere else.
Let's jump over the fence for a second. Let's you and I play Las Vegas. Or let's be our buddy Mick Akers for a second. If you're ranking the three sites that are up for contention right now, the Rio is most talked about. I know that's what has you at least on alert the most right now. I still feel like the Tropicana site has got to be number one. It's on the Strip. It would put you in walking range of basically every tourist that's going up and down Las Vegas Boulevard. Rio is a little bit of a walk, right? So maybe number two, maybe a little bit less land. I mean, if you go to the Tropicana site, right, you're demolishing that entire structure, right? You're starting from scratch. And then there's the festival grounds, which probably for me is number three. It's further north. It's next to Circus, which I don't know has $800 million to totally redo, and it probably needs that by about now. Plus, the festival grounds do make money and offer opportunity like right now, so you're taking that away. I just think that Tropicana 1, Rio 2, Festival Grounds 3 is how I'd rank it. How about you?
I would agree. I think the Tropicana site's your holy grail because it's right there smack in the middle of the Strip. It's right across from MGM Grand. But the reason they've had problems with the Tropicana site is just because of that. It's prime real estate.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be inspired in Las Vegas to give up free money to fix that real estate. Like anybody in the world would pay through the nose to be right there.
Right.
So there's not a lot of incentive in giving public funds to help fix that spot. You don't need it. The festival ground side, I would say, is probably number two in my mind in terms of desirability because it is on the Strip.
Good point.
Like it or not, on the Strip matters. And that site is on the Strip. That's also why I think the Rio site is the most concerning to me because I think that's the site that Las Vegas or Nevada or Clark County or whoever's considering putting up public money would be the most interested in putting public money to, because that's not exactly the site that is the biggest draw. They need more help there to boost that part of the city or the Strip. They don't really need a lot of help at the Tropicana site. They need a little bit of help at the Festival Ground site, but not as much. And I think that the owner's dreamscape of the Rio site are the most inclined to work with the A's. And I think that will get them the best sweetheart deal. And we know they're looking for a sweetheart deal. So again, I think the Rio is probably the least sexy site, but I think it's going to become the most sexy site when it comes to the amount of money that John Fisher's going to have to spend to get something built.
Have you stayed in either the Rio or the Tropicana?
No, I don't go to Vegas much.
I stayed at the Trop once. I'm okay. And this was 15 years ago. It was in need of help back then. I don't know how I got on that conversation, but yeah. Let's tear ballpark or not.
I looked at the Rio.
Let's tear it down.
$20. You could go stay there for $20. And it's about a mile, like as the crow flies, from the Bellagio fountains. So if you were to build at the Rio, you're like straight across from the fountains. I think that would be maybe something alluring to people. I don't know.
How about this? If the A's stay in Oakland, you and I go take a boys' weekend in Las Vegas to celebrate. I'm sure our wives will understand that what we've been going through for a couple of years. They'll give us a day or two without the kids.
Yeah, and all we need is like $40 or $50 to stay the weekend at the
That's my point. We'll go stay at the Rio one night. How's the buffet? Yikes.